Hello everyone, today we're going to be looking at Minecraft Championship 20. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to analyze all the different teams and I'll tell you my thoughts on them. Then I'll tell you where the teams should place just according to statistics. Then after that I'll tell you where I personally think they're going to place just solely based on my opinion. But before we get into the video, I just want to thank you guys for actually helping me achieve my goal. Last year I asked you guys for 100 subscribers by the end of 2021 and we actually did it. The last video got more views than I even thought was possible for me, and for that, thank you. Just thank you guys. And as always, please like and please subscribe if you want to continue seeing these videos for every MCC in the future. And before I start to bore you all, let's get on to the actual video. Starting off, we have the Red Rabbits. Now, for this team, honestly, I think a lot of it depends on CPK. He's a bit dodgy with his averages, as he's been as low as 23rd place and as high as 5th. If we get another top 10 performance from CPK and a slightly better performance from Nihachu than usual, I do think this team has the potential to get into Dodgeball. But apart from that, this team will be very fun to watch, and I don't doubt that they can do some amazing things in this event. Second, we have the Orange Ocelots. Now, to be honest, I have no clue how good Elena is, and I really don't know how good Purpled is at 1.16 combat. I think that for this team to win, Puns will have to get one of his better performances, and Purpled will have to practice a lot. I would probably change where I'd place this team if I actually knew how good Elena is, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But regardless, I think it's going to be really entertaining to see Purpled in MCC, and I think he'll do really good, especially with Puns, who I know he's played a bunch of tournaments with in the past. Third, we have the Yellow Yaks. Now, this is essentially just the MCC 15 Purple Pandas, except instead of in the Littlewood, we have SB. Honestly, I see this as an improvement, and if Illumina can really pop off, I do think that this team has a pretty good chance to get into Dodgeball. But either way, it's always fun to watch the Hermits teams, and I don't doubt this one will be fun to watch too. Fourth, we have the Lime Llamas. Now, this is basically just the MCC 15 Pink Parrots, except instead of Ranboo, we have Shubble. And honestly, I don't really see this as that much of a change. If Shubble can do a little bit better than she usually does, and if Tapel can place as high as he has in the past, I think that they could actually win this time. But regardless, I think this team will be very entertaining, and I don't doubt that they can do well. Fifth, we have the Green Geckos. Now, at this point, I think Scott is just trying way too hard to get Captain Sparkles a win, without making the team super overpowered. We have Ranboo, Filza, Scott himself, and Captain Sparkles. Not a single person on this team has an average that's below average. This team is pretty much just a whole team of A and B tiers, which doesn't happen often. And I think this team can definitely get into Dodgeball if we get one of Filza's higher performances. All in all, I think this team is pretty good and can probably win if they just try their best. But either way, this team is also going to be insanely entertaining. Sixth, we have the Cyan Coyotes. Now, this team features Good Times with Scar, who is probably one of the most requested people to join MCC. And honestly, I think a lot of people are underrating Scar's competitive abilities. I think that with this absolute monster of a team behind him, he can easily do well and maybe even win for his first event. And this very well could be the team that gets Pete his 5th win. But regardless, I do think this team will be a very fun one to watch, especially with this being Scar's first event. Seventh, we have the Aqua Axolotls. Now, personally, I think this team can do well. I think if we get a good performance from Ant and if we get H-Bomb to be the team support he always is, I don't doubt that this team can do well. But with that being said, I don't really think this team can do well enough to get into Dodgeball. There's no real defined S tier on this team, and while H-Bomb is considered an S tier because of his charisma and his ability to make the team work together, I don't really think his points are good enough to boost this team into Dodgeball. But as we all know, anything can happen in MCC, and this team will be very entertaining as always either way, and I'm looking forward to watching them in this next event. Eighth, we have the Blue Bats. Now, honestly, I think that this team can do well too. Quig is probably one of the most underrated players in the whole event, and Preston is actually a lot better than people think too. And I do think that Sam is also getting a lot better. I think that if Quig can pop off and Preston can do as good as he has been, they could get into Dodgeball. But either way, this team will be very entertaining as always. Ninth, we have the Purple Pandas. Now, personally, I think that this team will probably come in the top half. Kurtzy is a very good player and Sneak has been popping off recently. Plus, Kara and Ponk both aren't bad either. This team is probably one of the more underrated ones too, considering Kurtzy isn't a very well-known player. But regardless, I think this team will make for a very chill viewing experience, and I think that they'll do a lot better than people think they will. Now, last but certainly not least, we have the Pink Parrots. Now, this team is especially interesting. Fruit is one of the best players in the event, but he's also a really chill person, while Tommy and Jack are the absolute opposite. I think that they'll be very interesting to watch. But apart from that, I think that the only outlier is Connor. I think if Connor can do well enough, this team should be able to get into Dodgeball. But either way, this team will be insanely entertaining to watch, especially with Fruit and Tommy on the same team together. Now, as for the part of the video where I tell you guys where each of the teams should place just according to statistics. Coming in last, we have the Orange Ocelots. Now, this was to be expected since they have 2 of the 3 new players in this event. But even with that, I definitely think that they can score higher in the actual event. Coming in 9th, we have the Purple Pandas. Now, this is probably because of Ponk's below average score, but yet again, I definitely think this team can do better than this in the actual event. Coming in 8th, we have the Yellow Yaks. This is just because collectively, the Hermits kind of have low scores by themselves, but when they play on a good team, those scores are always boosted. I think that they could get this place in the event, but I do think that they can also just as likely do better than this. Coming in 7th, we have the Lime Llamas. Now, honestly, this came as a big surprise to me. This team is pretty solid, and I thought they'd come in at 4th or 5th, but I guess you can blame the fact that all the other teams in this event are really good. Coming in 6th, we have the Pink Parrots. Now, this is obviously due to Connor's score being low, but apart from that, I think that this team can probably score higher than this in the actual event, considering that Jack Manifold is consistently getting better and Fruit and Tommy are both really solid players. Coming in 5th, we have the Cyan Coyotes. The fact that this team got all the way to 5th place while having a new player on their team is just insane. It just really shows how good this team really is. I do think that this team can probably get this high in the event and maybe even higher. Coming in 4th, we have the Aqua Axolotls. This team was a surprise to me since I didn't think they'd end up getting this high. Honestly, I think they could realistically get this high, but personally, I think they'll score a bit lower in the actual event. Coming in 3rd, we have the Red Rabbits. This makes sense because Sapnap has just been popping off this season, and honestly, so has CPK. Plus, Eret and Nihachu aren't that bad either. But again, I personally think they might score a bit lower in the event, but that's just my opinion. They could just as easily score this high. Coming in 2nd, we have the Blue Bats. Honestly, I didn't expect this team to be scoring so high, but it does kind of make sense. Quig is absolutely insane, and Preston is actually getting a lot better than I thought he'd be at first. Plus, Sam and Ollie have both been consistently getting better. This team could realistically get this high, but sadly, yet again, I personally just don't see them getting this high. Now, coming in first, and I don't think this was a surprise to anyone, is the Green Geckos. I think everyone knew this team would be in first place the second they got announced. I think they can without a doubt get this high in the actual event, but similar to the rest of the teams, they could also get lower. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And between blue and green wins Dodgeball 97% of the time. And now for the most anticipated part, we have my personal predictions. Coming in last, I have the Yellow Yaks. Coming in 9th, I have the Aqua Axolotls. Coming in 8th, I have the Orange Ocelots. Coming in 7th, I have the Purple Pandas. Coming in 6th, I have the Blue Bats. Coming in 5th, I have the Lime Llamas. Coming in 4th, I have the Red Rabbits. Coming in 3rd, I have the Pink Parrots. Coming in 2nd, I have the Cyan Coyotes. And coming in 1st, I have the Green Geckos. And between green and cyan, I think green is going to win Dodgeball. And as for me putting yellow in 10th, it's just because, well, you look at the teams. Which one do you think should come last? Exactly. They're all amazing teams, and I didn't know which one to put there, so I don't necessarily think this one will come last. I just didn't know which other team to put here. But that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm so sorry for this video being so late. It's really hard to record it because of my family. Like, I have the whole script written out and I have the time to edit it, I just don't have the time to record the audio so quickly. But apart from that, please like and please subscribe. And thank you guys so much for helping me actually achieve the goal of hitting 100 subscribers before the end of 2021. I genuinely didn't think we were gonna hit it, but you guys somehow proved me wrong. But enough ranting, this video can't go on forever. Thank you guys, and goodbye!